7, 6, 5, 4,
Here
3,
we
2,
go.
1.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most egregious examples of the small screen situation comedy. We'll be omitting animated shows, however, and saving them for another day.
How can I put this, baby? That girl a lot.
Number 50, Flatbush. The modern television landscape is, generally speaking, devoid of the sort of ethnic stereotyping that was prevalent within older programs. Flatbush was proof that no societal group was safe from lampooning, to the point where Brooklyn Borough President Howard Golden formally demanded the show's cancellation.
Then those 5 guys from Flatbush premiere, jumping to the beat of the street and having a ball.
Only 3 out of the 6 produced episodes were aired. It's this little bit of outrage/trivia that's made the sitcom last within the public consciousness.
So go to Flatbush Monday at 8:30, 7:30 Central and Mountain.
Because the reality was that Flatbush wasn't really outstanding or atrocious, just a below-average, by-the-number situation comedy that relied upon low-hanging fruit for its cultural jokes. Number 49, My Big Fat Greek Life. It's important to contextualize the popularity of the original My Big Fat Greek Wedding from 2002, because this is essentially why Nia Vardalos' sitcom was given the green light. It's also proof that some stories are probably best told in a single cinematic sitting.
Ian is a vegetarian. He doesn't eat meat.
He don't eat no meat?
No, he doesn't eat meat.
What do you mean he don't eat no meat?
My Big Fat Greek Life didn't seem to resonate with viewers on a week-to-week basis. This was despite initially strong ratings that led some critics and network executives to believe the opposite.
I told my family before we left that we would need time to ourselves.
Oh, thank God.
My Big Fat Greek Life.
Unfortunately, My Big Fat Greek Life struggled as more episodes hit the airwaves. The show was eventually canceled within a year.
Dad, what were you and Joanie talking about?
Oh, he just said that you should be nicer to your father.
Let's try.
Number 48, Super Ninjas. Everything is relative and the power of nostalgia is real. Thus, there's probably a certain section of viewers that can recall the Nickelodeon sitcom Super Ninjas with pleasantly positive memories. This powerful children's television behemoth has produced a lot of content over the years, however. It's Super Ninja's comparatively brief run on the network that has allowed it to slip through the memory bank cracks over the years.
We can't do this, not in public.
Well, I know I can't do that.
The show was notable for the inclusion of Ryan Potter in the cast, who voiced Hiro Hamada in Disney's Big Hero 6, as well as for its inclusionary spirit. Today, though, it's unclear how Super Ninjas would translate to a modern audience.
And now I'm just talking to myself.
Number 47, Who's Watching the Kids? The job of a television producer, like anything else, has its ups and downs. The career of industry legend Gary Marshall didn't always strike the same level of success achieved with shows like Happy Days. Who's Watching the Kids was just one of Marshall's failed sitcoms to be saddled with a Las Vegas setting, this time with 2 showgirls who live together with their younger siblings.
And the sunlight clasps the earth, and the moonbeams kiss the sea. What are all these kissings worth, if thou kiss not me? Pretty heavy stuff here. Did it come in a plain brown wrapper?
The show feels very much cut from the jiggle television mold, indicative of many 70s shows. It's a sitcom where innuendo and skin feel omnipresent, despite the presence of Scott Baio and Tammy Lauren as youngsters to the career women of Karen Kay and Linda Goodfriend. Want proof? The pilot's original title was simply Legs.
Mine is not the first heartbroken. My eyes are not the first to cry.
Number 46, Mr. T and Tina. The beloved and much-missed Pat Morita wasn't only known for his work in the Karate Kid franchise.
Right the circle, left the circle.
He was also an omnipresent personality on many television shows back in the day. Mr. T and Tina isn't as remembered as Morita's work on Happy Days, despite being a spin-off from the successful sitcom Welcome Back, Kotter. sweat hogs could save Mr. T and Tina from the ire of Japanese-American activists who complained about the script's stereotyping of Asian characters and culture. Although Mr. T and Tina was somewhat ahead of the curve regarding inclusionary casting, the show was canceled after only 5 episodes. It's considered partially lost today.
Mr. T and Tina is brought to you by All Temperature Cheer.
Number 45, Game Shakers. Today's savvy television viewership would likely be reluctant to spend much time with any show that featured the involvement of disgraced Nickelodeon producer Dan Schneider.
Now we have some adults looking back at them 20 years later through their lens, and they're looking at them and they're saying, I don't think that's appropriate for a kid's show.
This wasn't always the case, of course. Game Shakers ran for 3 seasons before being canceled in 2019. The premise was certainly interesting. Some young entrepreneurs see success in the crowded field of video game development. However, the ultimate creative synergy that Nick expected with the fictional games crossing over to real-life tech problems never truly took off to lofty heights. Game Shakers did feature Kel Mitchell in the cast, but not even this was enough to save the show from receiving the axe.
Drop that, let the bass get low. Drop that, and make the whole club go. Drop that, 'cause I can't get enough.
Number 44, Co-Ed Fever. Never underestimate the desire of the small screen to try and emulate big screen success stories. National Lampoon's Animal House was a smash hit in 1978. So it kind of goes without saying that TV copycats would try and follow in those shoes.
Dear Mom and Dad, I'm fine. How are you? School's okay. There's not much new.
No less than 3 in 1979 to be exact, none of which went on to any major success. Co-Ed Fever is probably the most remembered today, although neither Delta House nor Brothers and Sisters did much to differentiate it from the Lampoon formula.
You! What are you 3 doing in Mr. Crandall's house? Well, see, the old geezer went upstairs. He's gonna come down, he's gonna give us a piece of his thanks.
Co-Ed Fever never even got a second season in the can, since viewer response to its debut pilot special preview was so bad that CBS canceled it outright.
I beg your pardon. Women are just as coordinated as men.
Then how come they keep dropping their books?
Number 43, The Ugliest Girl in Town. Some ideas are just beyond the pale. The worst sorts of examples for bad taste during a questionable time. The titular ugliest girl in town wasn't even a girl, but a man played by Peter Kastner.
Look, it's my only chance to be with Julie. And that's how I became the ugliest girl in town.
Kastner's Timothy Blair masquerades as Timmy to seek out the affections of an actress played by Patricia Brake. Jokes about Blair's drag appearance and less than stellar ability to live up to female beauty standards are the crux of the jokes here, and they really aren't funny.
It's my cooking they want, my washing, my ironing. Who'd believe I flunked domestic science?
Oh, darling, you must be exhausted.
I am exhausted. You've never seen a poorer darling.
This isn't only by contemporary standards either, since viewers back in the late 60s also responded in cringeworthy fashion to this barely there premise.
Shall I follow the calling of my art or remain locked in the prison of my kitchen forever?
Number 42, Blanksy's Beauties. Producer Gary Marshall once again took off to Las Vegas for this ill-advised spin-off of Happy Days. Nancy Blanksy was a blink-and-you-missed-her character, a cousin of Howard Cunningham who appeared on a single episode of Happy Days. The resulting spin-off, Blanksy's Beauties, possessed a tenuous connection to its parent show in the form of Fonzie's ex-girlfriend Pinky Tuscadero, but was notable for featuring future Galaxy of Terror co-star Taffy O'Connell in the cast as a showgirl.
Ranger! Damien, calling the quest! Ranger!
Blanksy's Beauties only mustered a single season of Jiggle television before it was sent packing home from Sin City.
Pinky Tuscadero does it again.
Number 41, House of Payne. Here's a question. Do you prefer your sitcoms to only occasionally include a very special episode? Or are you in constant need of some serious themes to intrude upon your sitcom enjoyment? Tyler Perry's House of Payne definitely seemed to focus upon the latter, to the point where it sometimes didn't feel like a sitcom at all. At least not in the traditional sense.
What does that mean? A lot. A lot of what? What is that?
A lot of everything.
Maybe that was the point, and also why House of Payne has enjoyed a lengthy lifespan. It ultimately comes down to one's personal subjective criteria for a sitcom and how much realism audiences feel should be included at the end of the day.
Oh, you big ballin' like that?
Girl, you know you dealing with.
For us, House of Payne comes off as uneven, as is the case with many of Perry's works.
Is that boy with you? What boy? Malik. Then you can't come in either.
Number 40, Makin It.
Listen, everyone here. This coming year's gonna be my year.
Disco, as everybody knows, was a big deal back in the 1970s. Saturday Night Fever was everywhere, and there was no shortage of opportunistic screenwriters seeking a chunk of that leisure suit-wearing change. Makin It starred David Naughton, who would make horror history as the lead in John Landis's An American Werewolf in London. Naughton also sang the title theme song, which sets up Makin It's premise of a young hip lad working the disco circuit looking for love and adventure. Unfortunately, disco was about to be a thing of the past, in the US at least, and Makin It was a casualty of this backlash. It achieved only 9 episodes before being shuffled off the dance floor. Number 39, Me and the Chimp. There's an old saying, one that's often and nebulously attributed to W.C. Fields, that states, "Never work with children or animals." This is ostensibly because the human star of such a vehicle is just bound to take a second banana to said child or beast. Consider banana to be a pun, too, because Ted Bessel definitely didn't matter as much as the titular monkey in 1972's Me and the Chimp. This was yet another small-screen failure for Gary Marshall, as well as an example of an extremely thin premise running its course by the time the first episode hits its credits.
Well, you look pretty proud of yourself this morning.
Why not? Didn't we play a great game? Didn't we have a lot of fun?
The monkey and man idea wouldn't go away, however, as evidenced by yet another weird sitcom idea, BJ and the Bear. Number 38, Quark. It's fun to look back now upon the original run of Star Trek and its seemingly endless assembly line of Starfleet Academy professionals wearing miniskirts to work. Quark was a short-lived parodic sitcom that had fun with this trope, even going so far as to double down on the sexiness by casting twin co-leads, Sib and Patricia Barnstable.
Yes?
Take it up 3 points.
3, Commander.
Betty?
Yes?
Any contact with the Gorgons?
None yet, Commander.
Richard Benjamin's interstellar garbage man leads his trash-collecting crew throughout various well-worn plot lines of other more famous sci-fi shows.
We've cleaned up all the trash in the Milky Way. Now, put her on Astro Track and let's get out of here.
Quark did receive an Emmy nomination for costuming, but a show this broad probably wasn't destined for much more than being highlighted on videos such as this one.
I have 2 questions. First of all, why do you think about things like that? And secondly, what does that mean?
Number 37, Hee Haw Honeys. The monumental 26-season success of Hee Haw sort of made it impossible for the show not to attempt at least one spin-off.
Now you see why Cornfield County is one county I'd never race through.
Hee Haw Honeys didn't achieve the same sort of popularity as its parent show, despite retaining many of the beloved cast members from Hee Haw's legacy lineup. Kathy Lee Gifford starred in the show, which combined sitcom comedy alongside musical performances from many of country music's biggest and brightest stars. Gifford's fictional truck stop co-starred one of Hee Haw's other biggest stars, Misty Rowe, but only lasted from the 1978 to 1979 television seasons.
Please, I'm dying of thirst. Could you give me something to drink? And the guy says, I'm sorry, I can't let you in without a tie.
Number 36, Babes. We sometimes, and perhaps unfairly, only highlight older decades for their bad entertainment ideas. But it's important to remember that, yes, the 90s were also pretty terrible.
Do you guys remember what Mom told us? Stay away from your Uncle Lou? No, if we stick together, nothing can hurt us.
Case in point, Babes, a sitcom that aired on Fox with a title that we hope isn't being facetious.
There was this skinny brunette, and I overheard her saying if she looked like me, she wouldn't be caught dead in public. It was so humiliating.
That's because this show focused upon the weight of its leading ladies, and not in the inclusive, body-positive way we might expect by today's standards. Although babes could potentially be reframed in this latter light, it's difficult to do so given the landscape of television during this time, that title, and many of the jokes.
Let's get something straight, Vince. I don't run, I don't jump, and I walk only when I hear smoke alarms.
Then passive exercising is for you.
Uh-huh.
You don't do a thing.
Number 35, Shasta McNasty. Some sitcoms seem to unfairly fail, while others feel doomed from the start. How else could one explain the title of this late 90s oddity, Shasta McNasty?
No, it's not like we're stealing anything, or we're putting stuff in. And if that's a crime, then string up Santa Claus.
Yeah? Yeah, come on, what do you say?
Sure, the show would later shorten its name to simply Shasta, but that one's even worse if you ask us. There was admittedly some fan buzz for the show with the most of-its-time premise ever, that of a struggling rap rock band.
Whoa, well, you didn't say anything about him moving in. You said we were gonna find him. He was living in the street on the box.
Let me out.
Oh, well, I guess he moved on up to the penthouse. Get him out of there.
Not until he apologizes.
The fourth wall breaks and band dynamics of Shasta McNasty worked less often than they did. The show only mustered a single season of early millennial shenanigans.
That's Diana. She lives next door and shares our kitchen, something the landlord failed to mention when we first moved in, which made for a very interesting first morning.
Number 34, The Ropers. This next sitcom is one that routinely makes the rounds on lists like this, specifically of spin-offs that probably should never have existed.
Helen, I didn't mean anything by it. It's all your fault.
Three's Company was a smash hit. The landlord characters of Stanley and Helen Roper were a big part of that show's ensemble cast. They were not, however, the stars of the show, and it could be argued that Three's Company retained just enough of their humor to make it memorable.
I don't know why you started this silly nonsense anyway.
It's not nonsense, it's my hobby.
The Ropers was a step too far, since the couple's marital bickering was better off in small doses, coming across as irritating when it came to their own show.
We don't have to see it again.
You've been trying to sell this house behind my back.
Number 33, Bucket and Skinner's Epic Adventures. There was little in the way of epic adventures when it came to this brief Nickelodeon show from the early 2010s.
I stubbed my toe. I yelled, ah!
Bucket and Skinner's Epic Adventures didn't have much going for its premise, other than that of two young boys who frequently get in over their heads while living under the bright California sun.
You got a lot of nerve showing your face around here, tan in her hand.
The network canceled Bucket and Skinner's Epic Adventures before the entirety of their first season run could air in the United States, although these lost episodes could be found on Nickelodeon affiliates in Greece and Australia.
Okay, how are we ever gonna get that key from Klaus's sweater?
You can't. It's impossible. Just leave it alone.
Number 32, Webster. The real-life husband and wife duo of Alex Karras and Susan Clark took on this sitcom job during the twilight of their careers, and it shows.
How exactly is that done?
You don't know how to make coffee?
Instant.
How about a beer?
Beer I can make.
The talents of Karras, who earned his reputation as a successful athlete-turned-actor, were largely wasted, as was Clark's notable chops as a dramatic actor.
What does he call you, George?
He calls me George.
And why does he call you George, George?
Because my name is George.
They played a distant fiddle to Emmanuel Lewis's title character, for which Webster was clearly the vehicle. Then again, Clark and Karras did co-produce the show alongside Lewis's own production company, perhaps realizing how this sort of harmless but toothless sitcom pablum could placate the masses for 22 minutes. It did for 6 seasons, but different strokes, this ain't.
That's it, Catherine. Believe me, darling. Hey, woohoo, I quit.
Number 31, Small Wonder. Call this sitcom one that succeeded despite the odds. Kids admittedly love to watch this cheesy sitcom involving a robotic girl named Vicky who lives with her inventor and his family.
And its brain is a data flow system using wafer-scale integration, with the data pads hooked into a self-organizing systolic array processor.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
The plot lines here were basic fare for the 1980s, while also ensuring to revolve around Vicky's robotic nature and keeping it all under wraps. Small Wonder is basically harmless, but more of a time capsule of the decade than anything mean-spirited or outlandishly offensive.
Stop showing off, Vicky. Let's go. Let's go.
Oh, and it also ran in first-run syndication for 4 seasons. Go figure.
Aha, we thought something might be wrong.
Number 30, Bleep My Dad Says. Outrageous quotes from Justin Halpern's dad were such a sensation on Twitter that CBS made a fictionalized sitcom.
Come on, Barb, stay with me!
Why can't someone do a good impression of me?
William Shatner plays the loudmouth namesake in Bleep My Dad Says, whose son turns his rants into a column after moving back home. Broadcast TV was already the wrong platform for Sam Halpern's infamous profanity. Still, the thoughtless father-son farce had nothing more to say than embarrassingly lowbrow gags.
Okay, well, I'm not going to look up horses and beautiful women because I did that once, and I'm still trying to unsee it.
It was canceled after one season, with ratings suggesting that it was mostly known for its bad reputation. If anything, controversy surrounding the title gave Bleep My Dad Says a boost. What really silenced the show was actual viewers seeing that it was, let's just say, a piece of junk. Number 29, Hello, Larry.
Yes? Oh boy, we're back on the air with I didn't know we were on the air there.
McLean Stevenson struggled for a hit after MASH. There was much buzz about Hello, Larry, in which he plays a newly divorced talk radio host. It sounds like the creators of Frasier were listening to that premise.
Hello, Martin. This is Dr. Frasier Crane. I'm listening.
But the critics agreed that NBC's tediously unfunny sitcom was dead air. Some even misinterpreted its desperate crossover with Different Strokes, believing it set up a spin-off which was already on the air. NBC's own Johnny Carson even joined in the trash talk. After the network shockingly gave the flop a second season, with more focus on the lead's daughters, it was goodbye to Hello, Larry. Decades later, though, its failure is still being talked about.
She was smashed, Ruthie. She fell asleep while I was talking to her.
Well, gee, Dad, you don't have to be drunk to do that.
Number 28, Dads. A pair of successful but immature video game developers suddenly have to adapt to their fathers moving in with them.
Yeah, things are going great now, but... Dad. What? I was just gonna say someday they won't be.
The makers of Family Guy do have a knack for edgy family dysfunction, at least in animation. Fox's Dads, on the other hand, could not salvage its unlikable characters on shock value alone. The politically incorrect humor is all the more offensive for how uninspired and obnoxious it is. It especially didn't work in the bland multicam format, whose laughs could not have been from a live audience.
Well, at least he died in the line of duty.
Contrary to the premise, nothing ever really grew up in the forgettable at best Dads. With catastrophic reviews and ratings already reducing the episode order, it's game over after just one season. Number 27, Ferris Bueller.
This is television. This is real.
Teen comedies don't get much cooler than Ferris Bueller's Day Off. The high school hero of John Hughes' instant classic would continue his adventures on TV. Unfortunately, NBC's Ferris Bueller was way off. It featured none of the original cast or crew, and relocated the story from Chicago to Los Angeles County. The often blatant disrespect for the original would be more forgivable if not for the cheesy writing. Once beloved characters were reduced to their most obnoxious tropes.
What do you have against me, Jeannie?
You're a scrawny, immature pile of dog doo, and you hang around with my brother, who is the king of scrawny, immature dog doo.
Meanwhile, Fox's Parker Lewis Can't Lose debuted to much more favorable comparisons to Ferris Bueller's Day Off. The movie's technically official successor was thus canceled after one season, with no nostalgia for the few who remember its existence. Number 26, George. Heavyweight boxing legend George Foreman is larger than life in personality as much as stature. He seemed ideal to lead his own sitcom about a retired boxer running a program for at-risk high schoolers. Hey, he couldn't be less qualified for this noble enterprise than Foreman is of being an actor.
And according to your highly skilled professional counselor, you're a select group of students who have a proven talent to be a pain in the behind.
Yeah. But the harder blow to ABC's George was its corny writing around such a limited premise. From painful humor to trite schmaltz, it was heavy-handed enough to qualify for a championship belt.
No, there you go. I was trying to do something right and you don't even notice. You should try listening.
Listen? Who'd you ever listen to?
Whoa! Time out.
Instead, the poor reception from a small crowd put the show down for the count after a single round. George has since faded into legend itself, mostly for the grilling it got from critics. Number 25, She's the Sheriff.
And good morning to you, Max.
Yeah, how are you, sweetheart?
As disappointed as Three's Company fans were by Suzanne Summers' departure, her big comeback to TV was totally unqualified. She's the Sheriff follows a Nevada lawman's widow as she takes up the star of her deceased husband. What sounds like an empowering romp ends up turning the lead's ditzy incompetence into the main joke.
Ranger here was not all that convinced to do so. Isn't that true, Sheriff?
Well, I suppose, perhaps, maybe.
There is no excusing that on the rest of the show's lack of imagination. There wasn't even much crime to fight. The series did get a second season, ostensibly for the initial hype, but was left to waste in a weekend time slot. In a decade overrun with first-run syndicated sitcoms, She's the Sheriff was expected to stand out, and it did, in all the wrong ways. Number 24, We Are Men. Dumped at the altar, some slacker moves into an apartment with 3 divorcees also trying to get on their feet.
This was my defining moment.
But there's nothing actually grown up in CBS's We Are Men. The likable likes of Cal Penn, Jerry O'Connell, and Tony Shalhoub are wasted on unlikable characters, cracking lazy jokes and having derivative adventures. It's like a male-centered version of Sex and the City that doesn't have any real insight.
Yo, I'm home. Oh my God.
His wife caught him having the world's worst affair.
The character's stereotypical boorishness is just offensive to both women and men. The themes may have matured over time, but we'll never know. The ratings and reviews for We Are Men were so bad that it was pulled after airing just 2 of the 8 episodes produced. Number 23, AfterMASH.
Excuse me, Mike, but I spent too many years in the cavalry not to recognize the gentle thud of stable droppings.
CBS's MASH is considered one of the greatest, biggest TV shows ever. Its blend of wacky comedy and uncompromising war drama is not just hard to replicate, it was impossible to continue. AfterMASH depicts some veterans of the original returning to civilian life after the Korean War. The less funny moments admirably tackled themes of PTSD, veteran services, and mainstream healthcare. The thing is, there are hardly any funny moments between the clunky commentary.
I married a wonderful girl overseas. Wonderful. But believe me, Eva Braun wouldn't get the kind of look she gets over here.
AfterMASH came under such high standards that MASH fans landed it a second tour. With that, though, outrage over the show's quality cut its deployment. You'd be honoring a classic show's memory by forgetting that its battle-worn sequel ever happened. Number 22, The Paul Reiser Show. By 2011, sitcom veteran Paul Reiser was so desperate for a hit that he created a show about that ordeal. The Paul Reiser Show was a semi-improvised, semi-autobiographical comedy in the vein of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Well, nobody seemed enthusiastic about it.
Yes, no, it was a lovely show business experience. We're going to give you no lead up, and we're not spending literally a nickel on the promotion, and you'll be up against American Idol. And I said, might that be problematic?
It was reported that the show had the worst premiere episode ratings in NBC history. The unlucky few who did see it said that its self-deprecating humor was painful, and it didn't have much plot besides what was stolen from Larry David.
Oh, what are you, out of your mind? She asked me that question?
That's all right, never mind. Sorry I asked.
No, wait a second.
After an even worse performance the following week, the remaining 5 episodes of The Paul Reiser Show were pulled. Reiser's comeback would come eventually, but he could not have been happy about this disastrous attempt. Number 21, The Secret Diary of Desmond Pfeiffer.
Desmond, how are you this glorious morning?
Fine, Mrs. Lincoln. I see you've finally gotten around to opening that Christmas present from the Jamaican ambassador.
A sitcom based on sensitive history needs to be smart and funny. The Secret Diary of Desmond Pfeiffer, the P is not silent, had its work cut out with the exploits of President Lincoln's black British valet during the American Civil War. UPN faced massive controversy over potentially making a joke out of this tragedy and slavery. In fact, it was closer to a lazy allegory for Bill Clinton's presidency, among other contemporary pop culture topics.
Well, I got news for those guys. Just because you're a world leader doesn't mean you automatically get a mistress.
There was no edgy satire to the crass humor and thin storylines. The arbitrary backdrop just happened to be uniquely costly for a sitcom in both production and reputation. Pulled from the air after 4 episodes, Desmond Pfeiffer would stay a secret if not for its historic misguidance. Number 20, Work It. Work It was an awful sitcom that ran for 2 episodes back in 2012. The show featured 2 guys who, because of the awful economy, had to dress like women in order to get a job.
But just one more thing I have to say. It's me. It's Lee.
Lee?
Yeah, this is what I had to do to get a job. Okay, my eyes are up here.
Given how women have historically been treated with less respect than men in the workforce, the premise of the show is beyond insulting. But also, as a pure situation comedy, the show was pretty much completely lacking in the comedy department as well.
How'd it go? I blew it. Why didn't you tell me she was so hot? My ace bandage was holding on for dear life.
Just because bosom buddies kind of worked back in the early 80s doesn't mean men dressed as women is going to work every time. As one critic wrote, Work It was, quote, witless, tasteless, poorly acted, abominably written, clumsily directed, hideously lit, and badly costumed. Number 19, Joanie Loves Chachi. ABC's Happy Days had a great early track record with spin-offs. Chachi Arcola and Joanie Cunningham moved to Chicago in search of their own hit with a music career. The couple did produce some catchy tunes in the style of 60s pop, but dreams of replicating Happy Days' nostalgic style were broken by shameless anachronisms. Otherwise, it was a campy, unfunny rom-com that became a permanent pop culture punching bag. And we're talking about the franchise that inspired the term jumping the shark.
Let me tell you something. The Fonz don't fake nothing. Never has, never will. This time I will.
Nostalgia for the original show allowed Joanie Loves Chachi to fall in the charts for 2 seasons. The characters then returned to Happy Days like nothing happened, but their raw solo note still resonates today. Number 18, Are We There Yet? Both the 2005 Are We There Yet movie and the similarly titled television show that came out 5 years later were pretty successful.
Suzanne, Terrence is threatening to kill me again.
Terrence, don't kill my husband.
That's one. That's one. That's one. What are you writing?
The movie grossed over $97 million on a $32 million budget, and the series ended up running for 3 seasons and 100 episodes on TBS. They also both had something else in common. They weren't very good. We like Terry Crews, but even his big muscles couldn't lift the sitcom beyond the generic family comedy it was.
See what I'm dealing with, Yana? I see what you're dealing with.
It left us asking ourselves, is it funny yet? And more often than not, the answer was no. Number 17, Kath and Kim. To our Australian viewers, before you jump angrily into the comments section, let us be clear that we are not talking about the very funny hit sitcom that aired in your country from 2002 to 2007.
What? Don't be a fool, Kim.
You're not as young as you used to be. You've got a chooky neck.
What?
And crow's feet.
What do you mean, Chooky Kim?
I'm not criticising you, Mum. I'm just saying you look bad.
We're talking about the poorly written and conceived American version of Kath and Kim that the San Francisco Chronicle called, quote, a contender for worst remake ever.
Kim, I really like it. You're very serious and businesslike on the top with a scarf, and then you stand up from the news desk and bang!
Keeps them guessing, right?
And while a decent-sized audience showed up for the series premiere, it didn't take long for them to realize the show sucked. By the 3rd episode, the audience was already 1/3 smaller. Number 16, Talia in the Kitchen. A 14-year-old girl, a family restaurant, a passion for cooking, and magical spices all came together to create the meal that was 40 episodes of Talia in the Kitchen on Nickelodeon in 2015.
Wow. Yeah. That's huge.
I know. But you can't tell anyone, though.
Don't worry, I won't.
And while 40 episodes might sound like a lot, it should be noted that it was just 1 season, after which the series was canceled due to low ratings and less than stellar critic reviews.
Seriously? Oh, you see? I told you. Now we waste the time.
On IMDb, the teen telenovela comedy holds a rather paltry 3.3 rating out of 10, with one review using the right-to-the-point headline, quote, god-awful. Number 15, Veronica's Closet. When Veronica's Closet made its debut in 1997, Variety said in their tepid review of the show that it had potential.
That is a lousy thing to say. Well, it's true. Maybe.
Well, all we can say to that is it definitely didn't live up to whatever potential the magazine saw in it after that pilot episode. Being sandwiched between Seinfeld and ER on must-see TV Thursday nights for 2 seasons made the show a top 10 hit. But once NBC moved it to a new night, Season 3 saw a 50% audience drop. And that was that for Veronica's Closet.
Well, then there you go.
Number 14, Baby Bob. A talking baby! How funny is that? Well, in commercials it works, but in sitcom form, it's not funny at all. Well, at least that was the case for Bob the Talking Baby, who got his start in ads for freeinternet.com in 2000. The character's popularity led TV execs to build a show around him. And in 2002, the world got Baby Bob.
Mommy, don't be silly. Cows don't talk, they just moo.
And 9 episodes later, they lost Baby Bob. Although, all one had to do was watch the first 5 minutes of the first episode to know it wasn't gonna last.
How can you be so calm about this?
I'm not. I've just had time to get used to it.
We're not being overdramatic when we say it's truly painful to watch. After the end of the show, Bob went back to commercials, this time for Quiznos. Number 13, That 80s Show. We have to admit that a spin-off of That 70s Show that takes place in the 1980s with some of the same characters and storylines sounds like it would be awesome.
How do you get it to stand up?
How do you get it to stand up?
Unfortunately, we'll never know because that isn't what That 80s Show was. Instead, it was a brand new show that took place in the 80s with brand new characters and storylines. And while much of the team behind That 70s Show was also at the helm of the 80s one, whatever magic they sprinkled on the former was all used up when they went to make the latter.
Can you just be a little careful about who you pick?
Why?
Oh, because if it doesn't work out, I'll never hear the end of it.
The 80s coined the use of the word bad to mean good. But when it comes to That 80s Show, bad just means bad. Number 12, Harry and the Hendersons. Based on the moderately successful 1987 film of the same name, the Harry and the Hendersons TV show ran for 72 episodes over 3 seasons.
Oh, we can't let anybody know he's here. Before you know it, he'll be in a cage, he'll be tested and gawked at, he'll have his blood drawn and his brains wired.
But while the series was also somewhat successful, do you know what it wasn't? Any good. It was as if the creators figured that a Bigfoot living with a family was funny enough that they didn't need to put any effort into creating interesting characters or writing good jokes.
Oh, Harry, I don't know if you were ever a teenager, but you can't take anything they say personally. They're very emotional. I am not emotional! See?
And to be blunt, they were wrong. Even the canned laughter of the laugh track could barely muster up any enthusiasm for what passed as humor on the show. Number 11, Marvin Marvin.
My force field is rather powerful. Is it not, Dad Bob?
Since a sitcom for YouTube veteran Lucas Cruikshank didn't work the first time, Nickelodeon decided to try again.
And you can barely tell I'm different.
This time, they tried their hand at a Mork and Mindy ripoff, where Lucas plays Marvin, an alien taken in by a human family who tries to fit in disguised as a teenager. Except he makes Invader Zim look subtle.
Can't get rid of me that easily.
There's probably a deeper meaning of how you shouldn't be afraid to be yourself, but said moral, along with the supporting cast, are drowned out by Marvin's quirky overacting and heavy reliance on gross-out humor. Thankfully, both the series and Lucas's time at the network had run out, burying this mess for good. Number 10, I Hate My Teenage Daughter.
What's going on? Oh my God, who's pregnant?
Single mothers Nikki and Annie have inadvertently turned their teenage daughters into their worst nightmare, a pair of spoiled, popular monsters. A domestic satire like this sounds good on paper, but ultimately flops in execution. The characters are unbelievable and unsympathetic, even the ones we're supposed to sympathize with. And it's difficult to truly get invested in any of them.
You told me this started 2 hours ago.
It's what I do.
The writing is completely toothless, with the premise feeling more like a setup for feeble punchlines. Fortunately, plummeting ratings finally ended the show, and we all learned a valuable lesson. Don't be Annie or Nikki, and discipline your children.
But it's really not that bad.
Number 9, Homeboys in Outer Space.
I knew I should have listened to my horoscope. It said I'm going to die.
A sci-fi parody sitcom can be hilarious if done right. If only UPN knew that when they greenlit this. Flex and Daryl Bell star as the fun-loving Tiberius and the straight-laced Morris, two 23rd century astronauts traveling through the cosmos in their winged car. The series boasts some memorable guest star appearances, but not so much humor, mostly relying on rather forced sci-fi references and racial stereotyping.
You, me,
and a nuclear warhead. A menage a boom!
Following a long line of low ratings and criticism, including protests from the NAACP, the show was canceled and rightfully forgotten in the black void of space.
But I must warn you, ladies, I don't perform well under pressure.
Number 8. Blockbuster. Haven't Netflix humiliated their would-be owners enough?
And we will once again be fighting for freedom. Not from tyranny, oppression, or persecution, but from annihilation.
Is that from Independence Day?
Yes! Blockbuster fictionalizes misadventures at the last remaining store of the fallen video rental giant, relocated from Oregon to Michigan. The streaming giant was clearly capitalizing on their successful run of the 2020 documentary The Last Blockbuster. There was potential with a showrunner whose workplace sitcom resume includes Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Superstore, but it all feels like an outdated format that nobody was asking for.
You're all gonna feel bad when they find my body under an avalanche of wedding crashers.
I'm here, let me help.
Oh, actually, Hannah, no, that's not what I meant.
Don't worry.
I don't.
Uninspired nostalgia couldn't make up for the atrocious writing and bland stories that led to the show's cancellation after one season. Blockbuster ironically represents everything wrong with Netflix's business model in original shows. Whether that will one day kill the company, subscribers should leave this title on the shelf. Number 7. Mulaney.
They're like, does that work? I'm like, it didn't not work.
It's not uncommon for stand-up comedians to land their own sitcoms as fictional versions of themselves. While some thrive like Seinfeld, others like Mulaney, not so much. To better explain, comedian John Mulaney portrays himself being hired to do work for a comic legend while trying to make time for his roommates, a wound-up trainer and a fellow stand-up comic.
There's no such thing as ghosts. Yeah, Andre.
Hey, Mulaney.
What ultimately dooms this sitcom is how dated it all feels. It follows a similar formula to 90s sitcoms and comes off as a Seinfeld ripoff. With nothing new to offer, you'd be better off like Motif and binge-watching Friends instead of one episode of this mediocre program.
Oh, I remember these faces on TV. I always thought it was the news.
Number 6. Dog with a Blog.
No, wait. I didn't get to that part of my blog yet. I'll do that after my new product review.
In recent years, Disney's had a reputation for producing horrible teen and tween sitcoms, and this is just one example. This blight of a series follows 3 step-siblings adjusting to life as a new family, and living with a talking dog named Stan, who runs his own blog. Because, of course he does.
It makes me so mad. I just wanna...
While there is a heartwarming feeling with the dog bringing the family closer together, the sentiments feel cheesier than intended, especially when mixed with the hokey acting, unimaginative writing, annoying characters, and generous amount of cliched jokes.
And in this story, a bad thing happens. And I'm talking butts scooting on hot asphalt bad.
As you probably guessed, Disney screwed the pooch with this show. Pun intended. But at least it was given a fitting ending.
Did Stan just talk?
No. I mean, woof.
Number 5. Joey.
Change can be good.
Oh, it's easy for you to say.
There's a lesson to be learned about giving a beloved TV character their own spin-off. Make sure they can pull off the leading man. After the finale of Friends, our favorite dim-witted ladies' man, Joey Tribbiani, moved on to Los Angeles to focus on his acting career. Longtime Friends fans loved Joey and his chemistry with the rest of the gang, but now he's on his own and down on his luck, making the experience feel empty.
I totally lost it. I'm never gonna get this.
While the premiere had successful ratings, it was all downhill from there. And trying to compete with American Idol didn't help either. The series concluded after 2 seasons, but Matt LeBlanc is not out of the sitcom game yet.
Ask your mother. Not now. Do it later when I'm not around.
Love you, Daddy.
See? Katie thinks I'm doing great already.
Number 4. Cavemen. The Caveman Geico commercials are truly some of the smartest and funniest television commercials of all time.
It's so easy to use. Geico.com. A caveman could do it.
What?
Oh, no.
Not cool.
I did not know you were there.
Unfortunately for all those involved with the Cavemen television show, based on those commercial characters, the series is not remembered as fondly. While there might have been a few moments of actual wit and humor, the attempt to translate the ads to longer-form storytelling was pretty much an abject failure.
Really?
That's Nick. He's Joel's best friend.
Oh my god.
No, he's all right. A little pushy.
I'm standing right here.
The Chicago Tribune even called it one of the 25 worst TV shows ever. Not just sitcoms, but shows. Turns out that making a quality sitcom is so hard, even a caveman can't do it.
Yeah, I'm done. Are you serious?
Number 3, Fred the Show.
Yeah, you're right. This one's terrible.
Be careful of what you adapt to TV from the internet. It could be something great and hilarious, or it could be Fred the Show.
What's wrong? The door won't open. It must have locked behind us.
That's right. Someone over at Nickelodeon greenlit 3 TV movies and a sitcom for Lucas Crookshank's character / YouTube sensation, Fred Figglehorn. Not unlike the web videos, the series follows Fred's misadventures while he talks to us and shrieks at us.
Wow, you look so cool!
You can't make me wear this, Figglehorn.
His annoying behavior and aggravating voice wore thin on critics' nerves, and ratings plummeted until Fred was finally put to rest after 1 season. Thankfully, after this and Marvin Marvin, Lucas cut ties with Nickelodeon and retired the Fred character. And we couldn't be happier.
I've decided a change in scenery is definitely necessary.
Number 2, My Mother the Car.
Hello, Davy.
Oh, Mother.
The series follows attorney David Crabtree as he buys a 1928 Porter that ends up being the reincarnation of his departed mother.
David, it's very sweet of you to put a lock on the door, but I'm perfectly capable of taking care of myself.
Spoken like a true mother.
For the rest of the series, David tries to protect his mother from a shifty car collector fresh out of a silent film. There have been plenty of gimmicky sitcoms over the years, but this one takes the cake. The concept is ridiculous, the characters are unrelatable, and the whole thing didn't stand a chance with the critics. Luckily, the crew moved on to more acclaimed projects, but it's hard to forget something this unreal.
If that's what my son wants,
That's fine
with me.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Heil Honey I'm Home.
Heil Honey me! What did I do now?
Britain has boasted its fair share of vulgar comedies, but this was just in poor taste. The premise for this disaster is basically the honeymooners meets the Third Reich. Adolf Hitler and Eva Braun as a typical sitcom couple with dull Jewish neighbors.
Hey, hi Adolf. Say, got the car? Only I'm running a little late. It's not a problem. I'll pay for the gasoline.
Obviously a controversial topic, the series was designed as a spoof of the idea that anything and everything could be a sitcom, even having the German characters speak with Brooklyn accents.
Ava, babe, please. I'm the Fuhrer. I'm a busy man. I can't just walk off the job at 5 o'clock.
Even with the corny jokes and cliched sitcom characters, you just can't overlook Hitler being the protagonist. Thus, the series was pulled after 1 pilot episode. It's for the best anyway, as there are far better ways to parody the Nazi leader.
I'll myself raise your hand. There's no greater dictator in the land.
Be honest, do you enjoy the bad shows more than the good ones? We kinda do. Let us know your so bad they're good sitcoms in the comments.
Wow.
Can be used as a tape recorder, too.